What's happening now off the coast of Greece at Santorini is exactly what happened then.
Simca's sessions, out-of-the-box insights into history, religion, and politics.
It seems the apocalypse is in the air, end of days talk. You see it all over the internet, that this is the end, the birth pangs of the Messiah. Christians talk about the second coming. There's all kinds of end of days talk. People feel that the world is in a bad place and it's going to trigger the apocalypse. Now, I'm not an expert on apocalyptic talk. What I want to point out is that there are geological events happening right now, as I speak, off the coast of Greece at the island of Santorini, ancient Thera, that are identical to the geological events that triggered the biblical Exodus. Moses leading the Israelites, the Jewish people, out of ancient Egypt and to the Promised Land. What's happening now is what happened then. How so? Well, Santorini, the tourist site, a very expensive tourist site, and millions of people go to Santorini. But it's literally the mouth of a volcano. The volcano's underneath, and the mouth is a little lake, and you can get a villa overlooking the little lake in the mouth of the volcano. You're just sitting on the lip of the volcano if you rent one of those expensive villas. And most of the time, it's a really gorgeous view. But what's happening now is a series of earthquakes, and they're building up. It's more than a month and a half since January 2025 that these little earthquakes are happening over and over, and experts are hoping that they're going to go down, they're going to diminish. Instead, they're going up. They're getting stronger and stronger. Some 11,000 residents and tourists have already been evacuated from there. And this is exactly what happened 3,500 years ago, a series of earthquake storms. Now, experts call it clusters, swarms, or storms. And then that led to the eruption of ancient Santorini, ancient Thera, this volcano that its mouth is a tourist site. 3,500 years ago, the force of the eruption was more than thousands of atomic bombs going off at the same time. Experts talk about, is this the worst volcanic eruption ever? Second, third? It's definitely in the top three. When it erupted, what it did is it triggered a series of events that the biblical record calls the plagues that led to the parting of the sea, that led to the exodus from Egypt. Darkness, hail. Hail in the Bible is described as miraculously ice on the outside and fire on the inside. Volcanologists call this accretionary lapilli. Literally, the lava goes up into space, and as it comes back through the atmosphere, all the moisture around it gets turned into ice, and then when it drops on the ground, you would see volcanic lava that under the ice, there's fire. So the biblical plagues are describing the eruption of Santorini. Now, this is also in the Egyptological record. There's something called the Ipuwer Papyrus. It describes exactly the same thing that the Bible describes. Water turning into blood, death of the firstborn, tsunamis, all of that is described in the Ipuwer Papyrus, and also in the Ahmose Stele. It's hieroglyphics that were put up by Pharaoh Ahmose, that I believe is the Pharaoh of the Exodus. And he's talking about how he rebuilt Egypt after these plagues, after these disasters. And you also find that in the El Arish Stele, in the museum near the town of El Arish. There's a stele, a hieroglyphic monument, that describes the same events from the Egyptian point of view. I'm just here to say that the geological events that are happening right now off the coast of Greece in Santorini are identical to what happened then, and it triggered the biblical Exodus. Does this mean that the apocalypse is upon us? What it means is what happened then is happening now, and it's been a 3,500 years in between. This kind of eruption hasn't happened in Santorini in thousands of years. Now, of course, everyone's hoping that it won't be on the same scale. Some experts have connected the Santorini eruption to the biblical Exodus, but they think Santorini is the cause. I'm the first to propose in my film, The Exodus Decoded, which I'll leave a link in the description. I'm the first to propose that it's not Santorini that's the trigger. It's the earthquake storm that caused the Santorini eruption, which in turn caused some of the biblical plagues. The others happened because of the earthquake storm. I mean, the parting of the sea happened when the delta, the Egyptian delta, that's just accumulated over hundreds and thousands of years as a result of the tectonic plates, the African plate and the European plate rubbing against each other, and the African plate going underneath the European plate. It's that rubbing together that caused the delta to collapse and the parting of the sea, because all the lakes in the area just shift. So it's not a tsunami that caused the parting of the sea. Tsunami lasts only a few seconds. It's the actual collapse of the delta which shifts the water in the lakes around the delta and allowed the Israelites to look at water 1 second and dry land another. To return to what's going on now. Yesterday, there was an earthquake of a size of 5.2 on the Richter scale. That's an escalation. Until now, they've been 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Now we're over 5. If they hit 6 or higher, that might very well trigger, I don't know about the apocalypse, but the kind of eruption that we have not seen in recent human history. If you like the kind of work that I'm doing, like and subscribe, and we will follow the biblical events that are happening at Santorini right now.